We have a new name for the coronavirus. The World Health Organization has officially called it COVID-19. Co for corona, Vi for virus, D for disease, and 19 because it started last year.
Now to growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus officially hitting the U.S.
Well, turning now to that worldwide emergency which is touching down in Australia, a Brisbane man isolated.
Response to the coronavirus outbreak that started in China and is now spreading throughout the world.
Australia, as it is changing all around the world, life is going to continue to change as we deal with the global coronavirus. This is
11:59 p.m. tonight. We will close our border to any non-residents and citizens attempting to travel here. This will stop tourists or temporary visa holders, including students or temporary workers, from coming to and entering into New Zealand.
New Zealand is expected to announce a date for the start of a trans-Tasman travel bubble today. Let's go live to 7 News political reporter Olivia Leeming. Good morning, Olivia. When could the two-way travel corridor be up and running?
This will begin this month. Good morning, Jodie. Australians and New Zealanders will be able to fly to their respective countries without having to quarantine, though we understand Australians also will not need to be vaccinated.
After the world seemed to going back to normal and NZ welcoming Aussies back, Brandon and I decided to jump on the opportunity for a DIY trip. However, this only gave us about 3 months to research areas and try to narrow down where we wanted to go. I flew from Sydney and met up with Brandon in Christchurch. From there, we headed over to the west coast to catch a chopper up into the mountains. As soon as the chopper disappeared over the horizon, I immediately saw movement ahead of us. Pulling out the binoculars, I identified a pair of chamois. Wasting no time, I put the rifle together and set off after them, with Brandon following along, bow in hand. In bow hunting, one should take advantage when opportunistic moments happen. So when my netting tipped over, Brandon and I switched camera duties so he could have a crack with his archery gear. She's coming up. The fact we were already successful bagging our first chamois within the first 15 minutes of our hunt was what I like to call a skill of more arse than class. However, a while after this hunt, the New Zealand Tar Foundation began the NZ Pink Eye project and put out the call for hunters to report any tar or chamois they have seen or harvested that show the symptoms of pink eye. And the 2 chamois we harvested ticked the right boxes. And so I did my part and reported the 2 in.
Soundstripe.
The following morning while I was getting ready to glass, Brendan spotted our first buck coming towards us. A game of rock, paper, scissors was used to decide who would get a crack at him, and good old Rock came out on top. My movement to set up for a shot caught his attention, drawing him in closer as the rut period for chamois tend to make them curious enough to investigate what they might think is another chamois. With him at 108 yards, I took a shot off the shoulder.
Soundstripe.
Yep. I just finished caping and butchering the buck I shot here, and now I've got to do a hike to catch up with Brendan, because just as we got to my buck to take photos, we spotted another one further off and he's taken off with the bow to have a crack at it, so I'll go catch up with him. Catching up with Brendan, he confirmed there was a mob of at least 5 or more chamois moving together. So the plan was made to follow them in hopes of finding a buck for him. However, this section of the mountains was hidden in shade, naked snow beneath our feet, ice. So the pair of us had to smarten up and watch how we moved through this unfamiliar and maybe dangerous terrain. Getting serious? I'm not getting through that. Although we managed to close the distance and I managed to get within 40 metres of this chamois, we couldn't take a shot. The camera is very poor at showing it, but these animals are basically clinging onto or are standing on a near vertical drop that neither Brendan nor I could see the bottom of. So even though he could have easily smacked one if he wanted, the question would become, how do you recover an animal in a place that's impossible for you to get it to? The answer is don't shoot, back off, stay safe. We eventually called it a day and made our way back to camp. However, on our way, we were treated to some of the most spectacular scenery I've had the great privilege of witnessing. And it's these moments that draw me to hunt. With bad weather predicted to come our way by midday, Brandon and I climbed to the spot we previously glassed from the day before, in one last look and breakfast before packing up camp in anticipation for the chopper's return. But we weren't at all prepared to find another chamois buck following the exact same trail my buck did the previous day, and so Brandon got ready with his bow. The buck decided to take a different route than what we anticipated. The buck was clearly on the look for some girls and was flat out on a mission, but Brandon wasn't keen on giving up and continued pursuit. There's Brandon. There's a chamois. I don't know if he could see it, but I've got no way to tell him that it's moving. Just to have the claim to be king of the mountain. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be, and our time tasting chamois had come to an end, and we had to say goodbye to what was home to us the last few days. I know some of you folks are curious on horn size, so we quickly measured my buck at the taxiderms and was shocked to discover my first chamois buck was over 10 inches. Truly a once in a lifetime trophy. Next time we're back on Australian soil getting rifle barrels hot as we go after feral pigs.